be able to engage in conversation with or to challenge those who believe the Bible is the inherent word of God, I needed to know something about what was actually in it. It never occurred to me that I would want to learn about these stories, and even more, to learn about other creation stories, until I walked into a Unitarian Universalist church. A church which asked me to explore the big questions without offering me pat answers. It made me want to learn and ask some more. Every age has asked the same things. In every age, there have been people telling stories and crafting theories of how the world began. It's human nature to want to know where we came from. The biblical story of creation was just one of many tales developed throughout history that has tried to answer that question. As has become increasingly apparent of late, many people think, like Brady, that the Bible satisfies me and that's enough. That all they need to know or want to know about creation lies in Genesis. For others, it's Darwin that holds the key. Some people need spiritually grounded explanations, others want scientific fact. And for many, the two are not mutually exclusive. And we find ourselves looking for ways to make connections. Because the origin of the universe is one of the big questions, we seek big answers, answers that spark our curiosity and wonder and respond to our deepest longings. The story in the reading of Isaac Luria's rendering of creation is just one of many stories that have been handed down over time. It's a Jewish mystical creation story. It is deeply rooted in theology, in an image of a God that cannot be described because it is so vast and unknowable. Yet it reflects the Big Bang Theory in a way that I find uncanny. It provides images and metaphors that are the stuff of great religious teachings. What are we? According to Luria, we are part of the emanations and matter that make up the world. Within each of us is a spark of divine light, and we're surrounded by a beautiful yet broken world filled with the shards, the broken pieces of the shattered vessels, which contained wisdom and understanding and mercy, among other things. There's another description of this particular story in Annie Dillard's book, For the Time Being. Annie Dillard, one of our most creative writers, is a Presbyterian turned Catholic who carefully weaves faith into all of her writings in one way or another. She gathers her threads of theologies, mythologies, and observation to weave together her own understanding of how the world works. In the beginning, she writes, according to Rabbi Isaac Luria, God contracted himself. Zimzum is the term, Zimzum. The divine essence withdrew into itself to make room for a finite world. Evil became possible. Those genetic defects that dog cellular life, those clashing forces that erupt in natural catastrophes, and those sins human minds invent and human hands perform. Luria's Kabbalist creation story, however Baroque, accounts boldly for both moral evil and natural calamity. The Creator meant his light to emanate ultimately to man. Grace would flow downward through 10 holy vessels like water cascading. Cataclysm, some say creation itself, disrupted this orderly progression. The holy light burst the vessels. The vessels splintered and scattered. Sparks of holiness fell into the depths, and the opaque shards of the broken vessels imprisoned them. This is our bleak world. We see only the demonic shells of things. It is literally sensible to deny that God exists. In fact, God is hidden, exiled in the sparks of divine light, the shells entrap. So evil can exist, can continue to live. The spark of goodness within things, the Gnostic-like spark that even the most evil tendency encloses, lends evil its being. Only redemption, restoration, tikkun, can return the sparks of light to their source in the primeval soul. Only redemption can restore God's exiled presence to his being in eternity. Only redemption can reunite an exiled soul with its root. The holy person, however, can hasten redemption and help mend heaven and earth. That holy person which Annie Dillard speaks is every one of us. We each contain a spark of divine light within us. It's not about God or whether there is a God or not. It's almost humanist thinking that it's up to us to act in the world to make things happen. We each have the capacity and ability to use that spark, to use that power deep within us for good or ill. Where are we going? Our creation stories are important to us because they give us an idea of where we fit in the world. In a spiritual context, they also can provide our motivational grounding for how we live our lives. If we believe in a God that created the universe and predetermined all that would happen, then we accept all that comes our way as God's will and act accordingly. If we accept the universe as ever-evolving, then we try to understand how that happens. And our actions are a reflection of what we learn. If we find Luria's tale of fragments of divine light scattered through the world compelling, then we find the work of gathering the shards, tikkun olam, the healing and repair of the world, to be holy work. If we are grounded in scientific theories, we use reason and logic and scientific thought processes to help us focus our energies. The great majority of us interweave our spiritual understandings with reason to help us make the decisions that lead us from one day to the next. As Unitarian Universalists, we are liberated,